everyone, and welcome back to It Can Be Done, but Not by Everyone. Last time, we unpacked why nearly 85% of new agents don't make it through their first year, and what really determines if this path is the right fit. Today, we're taking it a step further. Once you've made the choice to step in, success comes down to mindset and independence. So, before we get into the world of life insurance, I'd like to start with your own story. After 24 years at IBM, you stepped away to start your own company up top. What was that transition like for you, going from the security of a corporate job to building and running your own business?
Had mixed emotions. There was nervousness and uncertainty because I had 24 years at IBM. I had particular set of schedules, expectations that I knew. I knew that every 2 weeks there would be a deposit to my bank account. We had a particular set of financial obligations. At the time, three daughters. One, I think, was just on the verge of heading off to university. The other two were still in high school. So, all of those things, and as the person responsible for, I'll say, a lot of the financial, I had concerns that not having that certainty of a paycheck, what that would mean. On the other side of it, leaving IBM, I also had this set of excitement, an excitement because something new was going to happen. I didn't know what, right? Hadn't experienced it, but I knew something new was going to happen. What I had also was confidence. I had confidence that anything that I, dedicate myself to, that I want to do, that I am have fondness for, I do believe I will succeed. However, and then the other thing is with the love and support of my family, I knew that I can take on anything. So, yes, excitement,
Right.
nervousness, but you know, knowing full well that with my dedication, success would happen.
So, shifting gears a little bit, I appreciate that perspective, obviously, from your own time doing that. Why does mindset become such a hurdle for new agents when they step into this industry specifically?
My response is, well, biology is what I would say. But what I would say is it's not limited to this industry, right? It's anything you experience in life, right? The brain is wired in a way to protect us. And it doesn't like uncertainty. It doesn't like to be uncomfortable. It doesn't like not knowing what is likely to happen. So it does things to our body, causes us to feel nervous when we're about to do something because we're uncertain, to tell us that, hey, you shouldn't do that thing. So it's biology. Now, there are things that one can do to overcome some of those things, but lots of individuals coming into this space do not have the requisite skills to be successful straight away. And many of them will get no's. They'll speak to a prospective client lead, and the answer is no. And many of them will take that as a personal rejection on them rather than a simple answer no to a question that they had posed. So, understanding how to change that perspective and reframe that response from this personal attack on
Right.
you to simply be it's an answer to a question that you posed. And by asking that question and getting a response like that, you actually get closer to that yes.
So, in your experience, what do you think is kind of the single biggest adjustment that someone has to make when they move from being an employee to kind of, that independent contractor being on their own?
Understanding that no one will do more for you than you, right? and leaving that employer employee relationship, understanding when you're there, you have structure, right? The organizations have processes, they have systems, you have potentially a manager who is providing you direction and guidance. And a lot of the things that you would need to be successful are in place already. Right? Now that you are independent, you're playing two roles.
Right.
You are the boss, you're also the employee.
Right.
So you now need to put those same processes and structure and policies and systems in place
Right.
for then the employee you to be able to utilize. The other thing you also need to do as the boss is to hold the employee you accountable as
Right.
well. So
Yep.
those are some of the things I would say.
So, one of the most, I would say, powerful words they use is ownership. What does taking ownership actually look like for a brand new agent, kind of that day to day?
Taking ownership, it's being responsible for the actions and activities one needs to do in order to be successful. Right? So if you look at, you know, individuals who are successful and understand what their weekly process, plans,
Yep.
activities, schedule are, those are the things that I would say one needs to do. So it's developing a 1 week goal, breaking that 1 week goal down into days. What are now the activities I need to do on a daily basis to achieve that goal that I've defined?
Right.
And then assigning specific times to those activities. And I would also say it's then tracking your activities and the time that you're putting in. And then at the end of it is reflecting and being honest with yourself as you review those.
Rejection, setbacks, stress, those are all parts of this industry. What are some ways that you've seen agents stay resilient when things are not necessarily going their way?
I would say that rejection and stress are all part of life. It's not specific to this industry. We all have things that will cause those, whether it's in the personal or professional.
Right.
Specific to this industry, what I've seen are individuals who have, you know, created a plan. And let's even use the example of dials. They will set up some goal that they want to achieve on a daily basis is to have 100 dials. And what they will do is play these games that, okay, but I'm going to exceed it by a certain amount on a daily basis. So it might be 5%. And they work toward doing that each day. So at the end of the week, that initial goal of 100 dials is easily surpassed.
Right.
Right. That's one. And then I spoke, also had a conversation with, and I thought it was creative, is playing that mind game. And I do it personally. There are
Right.
things that I'll do, things that I know should be done, but I'm not necessarily excited about doing it. I will, give myself a reward at the end of it
Right.
after completing it.
Right.
What this individual shared is a pretty interesting way. He assigns a financial value to each dial that's made.
Interesting.
He has some particular algorithm, so persons can do the same. And by doing that, regardless of the response you get, whether it's a yes or a no, you know that every dial
Right.
you're making some kind of money because in order to get the yes, you have to make the dials.
Right.
So when you change it from the response is no, oh, I'm feeling badly, to every dial I'm making $2.50, $5, and you make, $100 a day, you know that you're making
Right.
the money. So those are just a couple ways.
So you've helped shape a module in your platform, IC Academy and Sure Connect Academy, called Transitioning to Independence. What are some of the biggest challenges that you see agents face in making that specific leap and the practical steps that can help make it smoother for them?
We're talking about mindset. That's one.
Right.
Individuals taking no personally. Another is the speed at which proficiency comes and the cost at which proficiency comes. That's a big challenge. And the last third, I would say, is misaligned expectations, because in one of the prior sessions we talked about how your expectations determine your effort. So I would go back and say some of the quick things that could be done is you need to have a set of goals that you define. Make sure that your expectations are set
Right.
to then deliver the kind of work ethic and effort in order to achieve them. One thing that's also simple, and I think I've kind of mentioned it, is to develop your plan of action, the activities that you are going to do on a daily basis, allocate time, and track. And when I say track, you're actually taking practical steps to track your activities, monitoring them to make sure that those daily activities are being done to then be able to achieve the weekly.
Time is one of the things that you talk about a lot. It's one of the most valuable assets that I would say an agent has. To you, what separates agents who maximize their time from those who don't?
What separates? Individuals who are successful understands that time is not a renewable resource. And because it is not, they work toward focusing on activities that are high value. What are the things that I can be doing that's going to deliver and give me the most benefit, the most bang? And they're very careful to avoid noise. Lots of things will attract you during your daily efforts, entice you, distract you.
Right.
And if you're able to identify the noise, the distractions, and keep them away, because those things will do one thing and it will slow you, right? So those folks who are, successful at this, they're able to push those things aside. Am I going to spend 30 minutes watching, scrolling on social media, or am I going to spend that 30
Right.
minutes skilling up,
Right.
right? So those are some of the things that I would say. And I'll come back to something that I mentioned earlier, that, you are the owner of this thing that you're doing and you control your time. No
Right.
one wastes your time.
Yep.
You're the one that's allowing others to do so. And if you can control that time to do those things that are giving you the high value, chance of success increases.
Right. For someone listening who might feel like they're still, thinking with an employee mindset, what's one step that you think they could take this week to start shifting into that, mindset of true independence?
I listed it, I think, earlier.
Yeah.
It's remember what I said about an employer who has systems and processes, and you have someone who provides you direction and expectations, you now have to play that role,
Right.
and you also need to hold yourself accountable. So that role is to put some kind of a system in place. And the simple one is define some expectation. I want to have 10 appointments this week. What are then those things? That's the end of the week. On a daily basis, what are the activities that you now will need to do to achieve that? Define those on a daily basis. Each day, list them out. And then the amount of time you need to spend. That's the first. The second is every day, you need to now be the boss of
Right.
that employee. What you need to do is simply question, challenge, hold that person accountable to make sure that the things they've listed on their daily activities are being done. That for me is simple, easy, and a good first step.
Yeah, help to switch that mindset. We kind of always close with this. For anyone listening, is there any kind of last thoughts, one big takeaway that you would want to leave them with?
I'll give two. You own this thing, right? And no one will put into it more than you will. So just remember that. And the second is about the mindset. Your mindset will impact your perspective. Your perspective will impact your emotion. Your emotion will have an impact on your behavior, and your behavior will have an impact on your results. So the mindset is something that you can improve, enhance, refine. It's to do the things that will improve your mindset so that the end result is what you're expecting.
In our next episode, we are moving from mindset into action, looking at those core skills agents need to build early wins and confidence. We will see you then.